Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aisha Moody, and this is AMPtalks. Now in week 5, AMPtalks is a virtual panel series where the leaders of the Atlanta Music Project will discuss all things art, music, and nonprofit with today's leading experts and practitioners. The Atlanta Music Project was founded in 2010 with the mission to empower underserved youth to realize their possibilities through music. AMP serves 350 youth annually through its after-school programs, its youth orchestra and youth choir, a private lessons program, and the AMP series. AMPtalks is part of AMP Online, AMP's virtual learning series made possible with the support of the Chestnut Family Foundation. AMP Online also includes music masterclasses with AMP faculty, recitals by AMP faculty and guest artists, and in-depth podcasts with artistic luminaries from around the world. You can find the schedule of AMP Online programming at our website at atlantamusicproject.org. Now, for the past 4 weeks, we've brought you conversations with our nation's experts in the arts to discuss everything from surviving as an artist during COVID-19 to using your arts background to propel you into a successful career in corporate America. With the constant conversation about our climate, about reopening cities, and reimagining the arts as we know it, there's one critical voice that is often missing in the conversation, that of the youth. So today we bring you a youth panel featuring a few of Atlanta's most promising young artists. Representing 3 Atlanta-based youth arts programs, these youth have excelled in their craft and are now leaders in their respective art programs. I can't wait to hear what they have to say about life as a young artist. And I'm sure you can't wait either. Now, throughout this webinar, you can chat with us. You can drop a question or comment in the chat box at any point, and we will see it and respond accordingly. You can also leave questions in the question and answer feature on Zoom. So, if we are ready, let's meet our panelists. First up, we have Abby Richards. Abby, if you can give us a wave. Abby Richards is a 15-year-old dancer, arts educator, and youth leader. She has been dancing her whole life and is excited to share her passion with the world. Abby currently performs with Moving in the Spirit, where she has studied for the past 6 years and serves on the organization's board of directors. Moving in the Spirit is an award-winning creative youth development program that uses dance to teach young people the social, emotional, and cognitive skills they need to thrive. Through programs that integrate high-quality dance instruction with performance, leadership, and mentorship opportunities, Moving in the Spirit impacts 250 children and teens annually in Atlanta, Georgia, encouraging them to overcome the obstacles they face each day and realize their highest potential. Welcome, Abby. Thank you so much for being here today. Now, our next guest, Naima Christopher, a multi-talented 16-year-old. Naima has already made her mark in the dance world. Naima is also a member of the Balethnic Youth Ensemble, where she has studied for the past 5 years. Balethnic provides a unique education through the art and discipline of dance. As a family-oriented school, Balethnic educational approach stresses disciplined lives, sound bodies, and focused minds for both children and adults. Welcome to the panel, Naima. And now we have 3 of AMP's own. Zella Kirkpatrick is a 14-year-old vocalist and future Broadway star. In her 4th year with AMP, Zella sings with AMP's senior youth choir and studies voice privately in the AMP Academy. In spring 2020, Zella co-created and led the planning committee for AMP Cafe, the first completely student-run show by the Atlanta Music Project, which was set to be performed in March but was postponed due to COVID-19. Welcome to the panel, Zella. Next, we have Sage Lima Jeffries, a 13-year-old cellist and vocalist. She has studied with AMP for 3 years and currently studies with the AMP Center Strings Orchestra, the AMP Junior Youth Orchestra, and the AMP Senior Youth Orchestra. The AMP Junior Youth Choir and the AMP Senior Youth Orchestra. She also studies cello and voice privately in the AMP Academy. In spring 2020, Sage became the first cellist from AMP to be accepted into and perform with the Georgia All-State Orchestra. Welcome to the panel, Sage. Next, we have Mr. Donovan Fuller. Donovan is a 16-year-old 10th grader and violinist. He is the concert master for the AMP Senior Youth Orchestra and has performed with AMP for 11 years. As a leader in AMP, Donovan also volunteers with the primary orchestras that he was once part of to ensure the legacy of AMP continues. Welcome to AMP Talks, everyone. Let us now get started with our panel. Now, you all are young, talented, driven, hardworking. You could really do anything that you want to do, but you all are really dedicated to the arts. Why is that? Just talk to us a little bit about who you are and why you chose what you chose. Abby, I'll start with you. Why do you love what you do?
So I've been dancing for my whole life, and I'm almost at the age to go off. Has inspired me to grow in the right path, and I so that really motivates me to give back through dance and see how it's like a give and take with other people, and how I can bless other people by giving them my gift while strengthening my own. So that really motivates me to keep going.
Sage, I would come to you. You have two instruments. Cello is your primary instrument, but you also do very well in voice. Talk to us a little bit about what made you want to be serious about two different instruments, and what drives you to do what you do.
I really love both the cello and voice. I've been singing like all around the house since I was little, so I thought that I should be professionally trained to become better at being a vocalist. But I also love my cello. I'm very inspired by the cellist Sheku Kenny Mason, and he just inspires me to just be so much better, wake up early and practice. And I'm not an early morning person, just so I can continue to be better.
Wow, that's encouraging. As you've studied, Sage, what have you learned about yourself as a vocalist or a cellist, or just as a person in general? What have you learned about yourself? One thing is that you can wake up early now. You learned that.
So as a cellist, I play very loudly. And in an orchestra, unless you're the soloist, that's not your place. So I'm learning to together as an ensemble, the orchestra has to come together to create one beautiful sound, one emotional, beautiful sound to contribute to the audience. It's for the purpose of the audience, not for you to be heard.
Indeed. I'm glad you've learned that lesson early. Anyone else have something to say about that? What you have learned about yourself through the arts, through studying the arts so intensely as you have?
Yeah, I'll go. So for me personally, I have gone a lot of places with the Atlanta Music Project, and I've discovered new forms of playing different types of music. You know, I've been studying classical music since I was in third grade, and I've always listened to classical music. And you know, I would hear other styles of music, and I would say, "Oh no, a violin is only made for classical music." You know, and then I go to Mexico one year, and it's like, wow, we're playing a dance song. It's like we are actually like feeling it. It's making you groove, it's making you want to dance. You know, and you just realize that, hey, there's other types of music out there. Like out in my last recital, I played a African diaspora, and
Mhm.
it made me want to cry emotionally, because it's like, dang, this isn't classical music. This is music from the 1940s, when African Americans were struggling and trying to get their name out there to be um to be treated equally, you know. So I just found out like different types of music.
Um, it's really important to broaden your horizons, find out about those different types of music. As a young black male that plays classical violin, how has that shaped your approach to music or approach to the world, or what has your experience been?
Right. So for me, people people look at me and they don't see a violin player. They don't. They see a 5'10" basketball player who looks very built, and so they always ask, "Hey, what sport you play? Who team you play for?" And I tell them, I say, "I play for Myso Atlanta." And it's like, "That's not a basketball team." Yeah, I say, "Yeah, it's an orchestra." And they're like, "What? You play an instrument?" And they immediately, they don't go to the string instruments. They see a black male, they think, "Oh yeah, he in a band and he's gonna play a trumpet or he's gonna play something that's like wind." And when I tell them I play the violin, they just like, they're shocked, you know. And for me, people come to me more because when I go to auditions and other things, you don't see a lot of African American males in auditions. And people come to you more. They ask you to do things for them. They ask you to go out and play. Because I've had many of people ask me, "Hey, would you like to play at this wedding? Hey, would you like to do this and go here for me and help me play?" Because not saying that people don't like seeing other races play. It's just something different when you see a black male, 5'10", looks like he plays sports, playing a violin, and they're just shocked by it, you know?
It's unique. It's not something that people find every day. Has anyone else experienced anything like that where they feel like they're sort of like an anomaly? You two young ladies in the dance world, you may have studied classical dance, ballet, where when we go to the ballet, we don't see a lot of black and brown bodies on screen necessarily, or on stage necessarily. So is that something that it motivates you more, or what is your take? How do you approach that subject?
For me personally, there aren't a lot of taller dancers that are, my skin tone and of my body type. So it motivates me to inspire other people that look like me and are like me to be like, "Oh, I can do this too." There may not be a lot of us, but I can still do it too. So that is what motivates me to keep dancing.
Which is really important. Who motivates you? Who motivates you, Naima?
Mainly my sisters. All three of us are dancers.
All three of you are
And my
dancers.
sister is, yes.
Wow.
My oldest sister is the tallest dancer I've seen, like in front of my eyes. So I was like, well, I mean, if she can do it, and now my sister's in Ballet Ethnic's company, so I'm like, if she can do it, and then I can do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why it's so important to live your truth and be who you are and just do what you do, because there's always someone out there that has the same interests, and they just may need that little nudge to see someone else doing it and say, okay, I can do it too. And that brings up a point that we were going to discuss, the idea of representation and how representation matters and how it's important for us to support other people that look like us when doing what we do, whether it be something that's really common for people of your skin tone or something that is not so common, like Donovan walking down the street with his violin. So Abby, I'll come to you, and then Zella, to you as well. What are your all's thoughts on people of color in the arts supporting each other? Do you have anything to say about that?
So I think it's very important to support artists of color, especially the young ones, because in a world where society doesn't empower us, we need to support each other and create a space for each other to thrive. And I think specifically through the arts, that's a great way to empower, because all ideas and all art forms are valid, and there's no turning us down or saying no. So that's a really great way to hold our
Oh, it broke up a
young
little bit,
artists
but I think I
power.
got your point. Okay, there you go. I have to fully agree with you, Abby, on that one. It's really important to support. Zella, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I completely agree with her. Supporting is definitely a bigger thing for us because as a whole, we have to support. And most people don't support what we do because they think arts is usually something boring or less needing of what other kids or teenagers need. So yes, I do agree.
Let's talk about that. Right now in my world, teachers, and this video will be seen by teachers, arts teachers, other types of teachers, principals, directors of organizations. Everyone is talking about, what to do now in the midst of what everyone is dealing with. And the arts, as we know, is not necessarily seen as a priority, even when the world is normal. So now when things are not so normal, there's really a concern among many of my colleagues about arts taking an even further backseat. What do you all say to those people that think the arts is just, an add-on, it's frivolous, and it's not necessarily, it's not a core subject, it's not the most important thing in the world? What do you all say to those people?
Well, I think that arts is very important, music and dance and all of the arts to express yourself. And it's also like a part of history, just as important as history or any other subjects. And it can also help you to improve in other subjects.
Amen to that. Anybody have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I can agree with Sage says, because when you do anything that's part of the arts, it's like a second option for what you can be in life, because majority of people go to things where they're like a job, just a regular job, 9 to 5. But when you're in the arts, you get to choose when you want to play, where you want to do it, and you get to travel. People love to travel, and being the arts not being a core subject is like saying, math isn't important for you to pay the bills, because you got to know how to pay the bill. You got to know how to count numbers. And when you're in the arts, just something, drawing, anything, it can help you out later on in life to live and not have to worry about someone else telling you what to do.
Yeah, that's important. Being immersed in the arts, so the way you all are at such an early age, it gives you an advantage that other kids your age may not have, because you get to do, like you said, like real gigs. You go to real events with professional performers, and you may be on the same bill as some of these professionals. And when I was you guys' age, I had my first jobs, playing piano around the city. And my other friends, they didn't have the ability to have a job like that. But because I had studied intently, I was able to do that. So the arts definitely takes you places. Donovan, you've been a lot of places with AMP because of playing the violin. Has anyone else on the panel had some experiences or opportunities through the arts that you think that probably would not have happened, if I had decided not to study so seriously? Does anybody have anything like that they want to tell us about?
Well, this spring, like Miss Aisha said, I got to go to the All-State Orchestra for Georgia. I auditioned twice and I was able to get in. It was a fantastic experience for me, seeing all the best of the best in Georgia. Our conductor was Richard Meyer, and he writes a lot of beginner string pieces. So it was very inspiring for me to meet him, for him to be our conductor. And it was really fun to be among the best in the state.
Among the best in the state. Absolutely. Well said. Anyone else have anything they want to share? Okay, I want to take this opportunity. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. This past Nutcracker, I was able to perform a lead role at 15, which I never thought I would ever do. And if I didn't, I was going to stop and just do school and not dance anymore. But if I didn't, I would have never gotten a lead role at 15, which is just I'm still shocked at it. Even looking at it now, I've done it and I'm like, whoa, it's crazy.
That's very impressive. Congratulations on that. That just goes to show, don't give up. Just keep it moving. I'm going to take this opportunity to remind all of our friends on the line that we invite you to be a part of the conversation. If you have any questions or comments for our esteemed panelists, certainly drop them in the chat box and we will get to you. And thank you again for being here. Now that we're talking about all the wonderful opportunities that we've had as a part of being in an arts organization, I hate to be the downer, but right now we're not able to go to these places and do all those wonderful things because of COVID. And the world wants to know, how are you all dealing? Zella, I'm going to come to you first. How are you all coping with COVID? What strategies have you used? Are you still singing? Are you still dancing? Are you practicing? Are you motivated to even practice? Let's talk about it, Zella.
I have been practicing at home because I've been self-teaching piano to myself, actually. And I've been singing at home. I've been doing classes with Mr. Martin, which is my teacher for AMP Academy. I've been practicing my recital songs, so I have been pretty motivated to do things for music because I do want to get better for myself and show other people how good I am and what I want to do. So, yeah.
Excellent. Anybody else? What have you been doing during the shutdown to keep it going?
Yeah, for me, I practice, a lot, just about, because after a while, I really can't stay inside the house a lot, and when I go outside, it gets boring as well. So I go in and I say to myself, I look dead at my case, and it's like, you know what? Why not open it and just practice? And when I start to practice something, it starts to, I tell you, if I practice for like 30 minutes, that 30 minutes return to an hour, and that hour return to 2. You know what I'm saying? I do take breaks because I can't keep playing, but I do practice,
And you've also been performing during the shutdown. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so, well, I had a performance with MISO where we had a virtual concert. It was new to me, because I never did a virtual concert. I always went to the venue, I went to the place to play, and it was just a surprise to me where they edited everybody's video of them playing the best of Bach, and they put it on the YouTube. It was a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting that.
Okay. I didn't even know about that performance. I was talking about you and your friend Josh. Tell us about that. Because that's something that some of our attendees might take interest in, and they might be able to do something like that themselves.
Performance with me and Josh.
Shepherd.
What was this?
You forgot already.
Well, no, I mean, we perform on the Beltline, but are you talking about that?
Yeah. Tell us about it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we do have performances on the Beltline. Me and Joshua, we go to the Beltline sometimes to like go out and just, walk. But other times we do go out and perform for people. And it's a new thing because when you go out to the Beltline, you see other people playing. It's like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should set our instruments up and we should go out there and play and see what people are going to do to us. And we had people form around us because of the songs that we were playing. They weren't just classical music pieces. Because me and Joshua, we connect with each other, and we know a lot of jazz pieces. We know a lot of popular songs, all that stuff. So that's what we did. Yeah.
So you weren't afraid to do that. Let's talk about this. We have a question from the chat box that is sort of relevant to this, and maybe Naima has some thoughts on this. How do you react to people saying that you are too young or not talented enough? This question comes from Imari. So thank you, Imari, for the question. How do you all respond to that? I know at some point you've had someone say, Psh, that's cute, come back when you're older, that type of thing. Okay, Naima, you're nodding. So talk to me.
A lot of times, being young, you are told you're too young, or you're too young. You don't know about this. You're too young to know about this. But it just gives me like a fire under me to prove that, yeah, I may be young, but I still know what I'm doing, and I still know what I'm talking about. So it just makes me work like 50 times harder
Because you do know. If you didn't know, you wouldn't have been there in the first place. So, it's important for you all to let people know, like, I earned my spot. Now, if you didn't do the work to earn your spot, that's a different story. But I'm assuming you earned your spot. So if you're there, you worked for it and own it once you get there. Anyone else have anything to say about that?
I would just say, I would just want a person to treat me as a professional, no matter what my age is, because if I have the confidence to go out there and play for you, then trust and believe I have the confidence to go out there and play for anybody else. And if you see somebody else who's like 60 or something years old playing an instrument, and you see a 16-year-old going out there, I'm probably just as good as him, no matter what my age is. So I'm treat me as a professional, you know, just like you would treat anybody else.
Yeah, and I think all three of you, or all of you, belong to three organizations where the youth are treated as professionals. That's why you all are as good as you are, and you have the confidence that you have. I can only speak for my organization. Well, I can sort of speak for the others because I know the quality of their work. We don't believe in treating youth like, oh, you're just little kids and, it's cute and whatever you do is good enough because you're young and cute. Like that only, I tell my students that only works until you're, like a 5 or 6. And after that, the cuteness goes away and you actually have to be good. And you all are good, and you have people that have invested in you that believe that you were good and said, yeah, you're gonna be even better than what you are now. So the fact that you're in a program like that, just soak it up, and you owe your leaders a big hug and thank you because they've really poured into you and made you something, brought out what was already in you that was so incredible. While we're talking about our organizations, they're really amazing. Moving in the Spirit, Atlanta Music Project, Wild Ethnic, like they do great work. And you all have the benefit of being very close to the founders or the directors. You know them personally. You know their vision for the organization. You get to talk to them randomly as you're walking through the hall or outside after a concert. So everyone doesn't have that benefit. What are your dreams or your aspirations for your program? What do you want to see in the program that has helped raise you as an artist?
Well, I guess I'll go first. For the Atlanta Music Project, I would like to see myself grow with them until I'm out of high school because they have gotten me a long way through a lot of things. Uh, they've helped me with things as well because I've had competitions that I've lost and competitions where I almost made it and
Mm-hmm.
someone was behind me like, "Hey man, what are you doing? Pick your head up, keep going. Life is going to go on." And when you hear that, it's like you're right. And so what I plan on doing is just continue to playing with Atlanta Music Project and just helping their name grow as well because I would like to see the students be in the Atlanta Music Project, and just help grow the organization.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Well, your leaders are listening. So, moving in the spirit by Lethnic, do you all have anything to share with what you think your dreams or aspirations are for your organization?
Yes, so we just moved into a new building. We haven't gotten to physically move in yet. I'm my biggest dream for the organization is to have the younger dancers and even my age, but have us move through that building. And I really want this building to represent a home for all of us. And I just want it to contribute to the growth and development of younger dancers so that they can grow up and go into the world inspired by moving in the spirit and that building.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just got a building within the last year as well, and it's really powerful to have your own space and see everyone come into that space. So, congratulations to the whole Moving in the Spirit team. I can't wait to come visit the space as well. So, looking forward to that reunion whenever that day comes. Anyone else have anything to add on that? I do have a follow up, of course.
Um,
Okay,
it
you want
would
to say something, Sage? Go ahead.
it would be wonderful to like travel internationally with AMP. I haven't had the opportunity yet, but I know Donovan has multiple times. But like like amped to be performing in different places around the world and learn about orchestras in different places to become better musicians, but also to have that experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's a dream of mine too. So we'll work on it and we'll try to make that happen for you. All right, Sage?
Okay.
Now we've talked about the dreams and aspirations. What about challenges? Challenges that you faced as a musician or a dancer, but also challenges within your organization. What are some of the challenges that you have seen, that you've dealt with? And if you have a response, how you've overcome them? Naima, I'm going to start with you.
My personal challenges is being, I guess, the middle child of my group, I guess, because I'm part of the older girls of the group, but I'm the youngest of them. So it's a little hard to kind of like suggest ideas sometimes because it's like, oh, well, she's younger than me. Okay. But then there's a group that's younger than me, and I want to show them this, if we work together, then it'll get better. But a lot of times it doesn't happen because the people that are older, they're like, well, I'm older than you, so you can't really tell me anything because I'm older than you. And that's my personal struggle.
Yeah, that's a global issue. Good luck with that, but it'll get better. It'll get better. And as we said, you earned your spot there. Azella, first of all, do you have anything to add to that? Because I have a follow-up question for you if you don't.
I think she basically said everything, but I do think that as a whole, as a group, we need to work on like working together and talking to each other about stuff because that just makes everybody understand what's going on so that we're not all in different places.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that'll happen with any group of people. Creatives tend to be very vocal, outgoing, outspoken, and very strong-willed. And when it's because they're natural born leaders, and you get a bunch of people like that in a room together, at some point you're going to clash, but it's, as Sage said at the beginning, it's not about you. It's about the art and the whole, the collective. So it's about figuring out how to navigate that. And Zella, you sort of did that earlier this year when you helped lead the AMP, the student run program. Now, a lot of students have come to us over the years and say, hey, we really want to do our own thing. We want to do our own show. And you were one of the people that took it upon yourself, and Donovan as well, took it upon yourself to say, hey, we're going to make it happen. We're going to organize this thing and really do it. You're not one of the oldest people, at AMP. So what made you say, I have the right to do this? Like, who gave you permission to do it? Because you just sort of, you did it. And then you came to us with a plan, So what got you to that point?
Well, that was me and Jessica because we wanted to do a duet together. And we didn't have like anywhere to perform it or anything like that. So we were like, let's figure out our own thing that we can do together and we can plan it, we can figure out what we want to do with it, and we can perform our duet with it. And we came up with Cafe Night, which you guys had already told us that you wanted to have another Cafe Night like we did in Summer Series. So we were like, okay, cool, we can like make this our own little thing and like have fun with it. So we've been planning it and getting decorations and planning outfits and just stuff like that, and it's been really fun. Like, we just been wanting to do it the whole time, and we've been even talking about it over this break too. So we've had many ideas and we're excited.
Oh, can't wait to hear that. Okay. All right, we have another question from our guests. All right, so I'm going to go to this one. Anyone can take it. How do you all stay dedicated when you're feeling discouraged? Please teach us. Adults are still learning the answer to this one. Practicing instruments takes years and years. So how do you motivate yourselves on days when you feel like you're making zero progress? Which wise soul will share with us their wisdom?
I think I'll go first on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I face a lot of peer pressure and other things in my life. I keep myself dedicated and motivated by looking at other people play their instrument. I look at a lot of classical music videos and things that can get me into the field of like, hey, I want to go practice. I want to go do this. I watch other people do what they do. And when I watch them enough, I say, hey, why am I sitting down? Why am I on my phone? I could be practicing, helping myself get to where they are and probably further, and people always say, man, Donovan, what are you doing, bro? Come outside, let's play basketball, let's do this, let's do that. And I say to myself, no, basketball is not going to get me nowhere. I'm good. I'm not good enough. Violin is going to get me somewhere. And I'm better than good. I'm great at it. So when I watch other people play, it lets me know, hey, I gotta keep going to get to where I want to be, and I practice, just helping myself out.
That's good. That's good. Who's next?
So me, for like motivation to practice, like during this time, everyone's at home. Like if anyone didn't have the time to practice before, now's the time to practice. For like students like me, I'm like just trying to use all the time to its fullest, not waste any time, so I can continue growing and be better. So I can come out of this quarantine a better cellist, a better person, to just use the time to its fullest.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Anyone else on that? I'm just going to echo what you two said. Like, I'm glad that you're able to see the value, even though we're in trying times. Like, use it up, soak it up, know your value, know the value of your instrument, and just keep practicing. So whatever it is that motivates you, you find that and you just stick with it. You stick with it, and don't let it go. Just stick with it. I'm going to go to another question from the chat group. Okay. What kind of support structure have you built around yourself to help you overcome adversity in developing your craft and in life in general? Is it mentors, teachers, role models, accountability partners, etc.? Because I get what you just said about finding, your motivation, and sometimes you look to other performers as your motivation, but you have to be disciplined as an artist. All of you guys know that, right? You have to be disciplined. Like Donovan said, it's like, I'm on my phone, but maybe I should just open the case instead. So a part of that discipline is creating a system. What kind of structure have you built for yourself to allow yourself to be the best dancer or vocalist or instrumentalist that you could be?
Well, I know for me, I have two people that inspire me to do what I do. My mom, she is my top motivator. She stays on me. If people know my mom, they know she will stay on me. No joke. And not saying it's a bad thing. I love her, but she stays on me. And I also have a program that I'm in. It's called the 100 Black Men, and they've taught me things where like time management and being able to say when I need to do this and how I need to do it. You're supposed to make improvements, not go backwards. And so those are people that motivate me to say, hey man, you got to have a list somewhere that tells you, all right, this time I'm gonna practice scales, practice fingering. The next day I'm gonna be able to do that perfectly without messing up. And you just continue to do that.
That's good stuff. Zella, tell me a little bit about your system, your support system, the structure you set up for yourself. And I mention this because you're a homeschool student, and I feel that homeschooling, sometimes you need to be even more disciplined, but you have an advantage on being organized because you take more ownership of your learning process than someone that goes to school and is sort of done for you. You get handed a schedule. So what is the support system that you set up for yourself, or the structure that you set up for yourself to achieve success as a vocalist?
Well, I have certain times that I do certain things. So like having a schedule helps a lot. Using my calendar helps a lot. Making sure that I plan ahead helps a lot. And my parents also are on my back as well. They help a lot with learning new stuff and helping me with my schoolwork. So it helps a lot to have two people that also are on my back and helping me with stuff I need to be helped with.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else have anything to add to that?
I am also a homeschool student, and I find that it is better for me to work on my artist abilities. Um, I can work anytime that I want in the mornings or in the evenings, and it's really
Mm-hmm.
great that I can do that. And I'm super excited
Yeah,
that I can access any artistic form that I would like and have all the time in the world to practice.
that's great. That's great. It's good that you all have been able to use your time, in that way. Naima says, you have anything to add? If not, I've got another question from the chat group. Okay, let's go on to this. This is from Miss Nina, who at least one of you knows. What have you learned about your creative process during the shelter in home time? What have you learned about your creative process during the shelter in home time? Now, I get it that you found new ways to practice, you found new ways to motivate yourself, but once you get started, what have you learned about the actual process you go through?
When I start practicing, I wake up in the morning normally because I like to have practice first, and I feel like I have the rest of my day to do anything, even like more practice. So you just feel like fulfilled in the beginning of the day. So first, I do my scales and I try to work on an excerpt, but sometimes I find myself literally playing random things, like making up my own music as I practice. And sometimes I like try to write some melodies down. But even with playing my some things that I made up or with playing regular classical music, like Donovan said, it gets you emotional. Like it's very fulfilling.
Indeed, I totally get that. Okay, so you talked about making up your own stuff and being really creative when you get into the practice room or your practice space. We are all here in Atlanta, and we know that the creativity that comes out of Atlanta goes across the globe, right? Everyone knows stuff that comes out of Atlanta, even if they don't know that it originated in Atlanta. As Atlanta-based young artists, what do you all appreciate about our city and what it offers artistically? What kind of events do you go to? What shows do you go to? What type of Atlanta artists do you listen to? And more importantly, what would you like to see in Atlanta? What would you like to see come out of the city? Because you all are representing Atlanta, and there are a lot of people that are representing Atlanta. But what would you like to see, and what do you appreciate about Atlanta, and what would you like to see? Who can answer one or both of those questions?
So one, I know for me, I love going to the jazz concerts in Piedmont, in downtown Atlanta. That's the thing that I love to go to. They play some nice music up there on the stage, and for me, I would just like to see myself up there playing, my instrument, playing some jazz, because I love jazz.
Very cool. Very cool. Anybody else?
I'm actually working with a theater in Little Five Points, Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been able to have exposure to many different art forms, and it's really just like the base of Atlanta arts. And I see acting and dance and singing and all of that. And I get to see how big Atlanta
Yeah.
really is, a city where this is accepted and yeah, supported.
Yeah, there is so much in our city, and I'm really excited that you all are part of the fabric of Atlanta. Anyone else want to share what they appreciate about Atlanta, what Atlanta has done for them, and what you would like to see in the city? Well, I'd like to say that I'd love to see all of you all perform again one day. So to my new friends that I just met, I will definitely be coming out to see you perform because you are an important part of the Atlanta arts landscape. So to our earlier point, it's important for us all to support each other. So we're going to make it a thing to make sure we come out and see you. We got another question from the chats. And if anyone that has just joined us, we are here talking with Atlanta-based arts organization representatives. We have youth artists on the panel today, dancers and musicians, and they are sharing their story, why they're so dedicated to the arts, what motivates them, what challenges they faced, and how they're dealing with COVID-19. If you have any questions for these budding young artists, please drop your questions, comments, or thoughts in the chat. And I'd also like to say that this is a very trying time for all of us, and that includes our youth. So if you have any words of encouragement or any thoughts to leave them with, please drop those in the chat box as well. And I appreciate you all for your cooperation. I've got another comment here, a question. Advice. What advice would you like to give a young artist that is struggling at this time? Your age, a little older than you, younger than you. Any young artists that are struggling at this time, just 1 or 2 points that you could give that person.
I would say keep practicing, because the only way you're going to get better is keep practicing. Maybe finding some people who will help you motivate yourself to practice more and get better at your craft.
Absolutely. Like, you got to keep going. You just have to keep pushing. Anyone else? A word or two of advice for those young artists struggling at this time?
I would just say like 2 things personally. One, just start. Just start, because once your thoughts and feelings get in the way, it creates a barrier and it's even harder to start. And 2, create a good team of people, whether that be your friends, family. Just create a team of people that you know and trust to be behind you and beside you whenever you're doing whatever you want to do. Very
well said. Very true. Thank you so much, Zella and Naima, for that. Anyone else want to piggyback on what they just said?
Me,
Yeah,
I would say, watch other people that do what you want to do in life. You got to study them and see what they do and what they do that can help you out in your life. And if you are going out there and doing competitions and stuff and you lose, and that's something that's discouraging you, don't let a loss break you down. You know, it's just one thing. Because I know for me, when I would lose competitions, I would be very mad. And like I said before, people would say, "Hey, bro, what are you doing? You got other things in your life that is coming." And so what I did is I take a deep breath. I think, I say, you know what? It's right. I can't go back. Got to keep pushing forward. And like the rest of the people are saying, you got to keep pushing. You got to keep doing what is necessary for you to succeed in life.
Good stuff. I'm going to do a popcorn round. Give me the first thing that comes to mind, and everyone is going to answer. From Dana, what brings you hope? You're thinking too long. Sage, give me 2 words. Go.
Becoming better.
Okay. Love it. Naima.
I would say more opportunities.
Good stuff. Abby?
Seeing young people thrive.
Seeing young people thrive? I think she said thrive. I got a little cut off there. Zella?
Being different.
Good stuff. Donovan?
Self-confidence, passion, and determination.
Okay, all right. Another popcorn round. What is your dream job? What is your dream job? Sage, I'll start with you again. Go.
A soloist or in an orchestra, a cellist in an orchestra, or a soloist.
Good stuff. Naima?
I don't really know if I have one at the
That's
moment.
very cool. You don't have to. Do you have a few?
No.
You just know it, you may have like a blurry vision, you know something out there is for you, but you don't know exactly what it looks like. That's good.
Yeah.
I have my dream job, but when I was your age, this type of thing didn't really exist. So I created my own job. So you may end up creating your own job, and it'll be your dream job because you created it yourself. Abby.
Travel journalist.
Say that one more time for us, please.
A travel journalist.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Zella.
Broadway, being a Broadway singer.
Yes. Well, I already knew that, but I guess everyone else didn't. Okay. Donovan.
A freelance or actor. You know me, I just want to be on TV and be seen, you know.
Well, sure no one has a problem believing that one. Okay. We have lots of thank yous and kudos and congratulations in our chat group. It sounds like people old and young were I'm not calling anyone old, more seasoned and younger, were inspired by you guys' words today, and you actually lifted spirits. Everyone's things are a little heavy right now, and I always find encouragement by speaking to our youth or coming out to youth. So if I have a long day at AMP, even if I'm like ready to go home, I will go. I'll stay to go to AMP rehearsals, because just seeing people in rehearsal, it motivates me, and I think you all have motivated our listeners on today. So I want to thank you very much for your time and your thoughts and the talent that you have given, that you have shared with the world, because the world needs it. And with that, I think we're going to close out our session. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to our attendees for joining us. We will be back here next Wednesday at 12 noon with another exciting topic. And I'd also like to invite you and all of your young musicians to participate in our AMP masterclasses that are held Monday through Thursday at 4 and 5 p.m. You can learn more on the AMP website, atlantamusicproject.org, or on our social media channels on Instagram, ATL Music Project, and Facebook. You all have been a fabulous audience, fabulous panelists. Let's give one more round of applause to our young people. They are the future. They are the way. And we're really proud of you guys. Thank you so much. Everyone have a great afternoon.